Racism. We use the word racism to describe some problems that keep occurring in our society. But lately it seems those problems have been getting worse, not better. Think back to 2009, 11 years ago. Obama had just been elected. Jon Stewart is hosting The Daily Show. Back in 2009, do you think you could have given a definition of the word racism? Do you think back in 2009 that your family, your friends, your coworkers would agree to your definition of racism? What about now, in 2020? Do you think you can give a definition of the word racism now? Do you trust that your family, your friends, your coworkers would all agree with your definition of racism? In 2020, would you even dare to try to define the word racism in public? Do you see? Slowly, over the last decade, the meaning of the word racism has been taken from you. As our grasp of the word racism has loosened, the thing we call racism has seemed to get worse, not better. Race relations are lower than they have been in decades. This is not an accident. It is not an accident that the ability to define the word racism has been taken from you and given to a priestly class of academics and HR administrators. This is intentional. People have been twisting and reshaping the meaning of our words. When I say twisting the meaning, people have been intentionally misunderstanding other people. The perpetrators have been interpreting what regular people say in bad faith, assuming the worst possible intentions, making the most vicious accusations when people are trying to express themselves and understand the world. Twisting the words doesn't stop there. Over the last decade, people have been using their influence in academia and the media to change the definitions of words like racism, rape, and even violence, the words most essential to solving our society's problems. They do this for power and influence. Our politicians, our academics, our media don't want us to be able to solve society's problems without their direction. They want to be the middlemen of meaning. They are taking away our ability to solve society's problems to play political power games. Words are powerful things. Words help us see the world. When words are formed with precision, they are tools that let us make sense out of chaos and communicate powerful ideas. Well-formed words let us see and understand our world in meaningful ways. When words are misshapen or corrupted, they are no longer good tools. This reduces our ability to understand the world and to communicate clearly with one another. They can be used as weapons to confuse and drive us apart. Our society has problems we can call racism. Racism is real, but we need a better definition of racism in order to solve those problems. We need a definition that increases our understanding and provides clarity, instead of a twisted, abstract definition that is only ever revealed through the expensive PowerPoint presentations of critical theory activists. A twisted definition that causes confusion, distrust, and disharmony is not what we need. Here is a better definition. Racism is a form of tribalism. It is racial tribalism. This is a useful definition because tribalism is something we can recognize and manage. We have skill at dealing with tribalism. We can identify the bigotry of tribalism and use existing social mechanisms to manage it. Tribalism is part of human nature we are familiar with. We can use our methods of dealing with tribalism in other situations to deal with racism. There are other forms of tribalism we recognize and manage. People can be tribal about their sports teams, team tribalism, and their nation, national tribalism, nationalism. These are more benign forms of tribalism that we can recognize when they get out of hand and have ways of correcting. There are also examples of tribalism that cause serious social problems. Most civilizations in history have had a horrible form of tribalism called caste systems. This is a form of tribalism that we have all but eliminated. A negative form of tribalism we have not minimized is gang tribalism. Since we call racial tribalism racism, we could call gang tribalism gangism. Gangism disproportionately affects black communities. This Father's Day weekend in Chicago, 104 people were shot, 15 fatally, including a 3-year-old child. Gangism is a bigger problem in Western societies than racism, but it doesn't get as much media attention. Tribalism is a part of human nature, and it exists for a reason. There's a natural social situation that tribalism best fits, a social arrangement where tribalism is wholesome. The most appropriate place for tribalism is the family. You could call family familial tribalism. The evidence strongly suggests that young men who form gangs lack fathers and families. If we encourage people to build strong familial tribes, families, perhaps young men without fathers would not seek the tribal comfort of gangs. We would see less gang tribalism. Managing racism is just a matter of paying attention to how we form and stack our tribes, and forming and stacking our tribes in the most positive manner. I suggest family, friends, community, country as a well-formed tribal stack. If we have strong, healthy, well-formed tribes, there will be no need for racial tribalism, just as strong, healthy families can reduce the formation of gangs. Racial tribalism is a problem we can solve. Define our words so we can see the problem clearly, and we can minimize racism.